Looks good, sounds good on YouTube. So we are live and alive.
Awesome.
Yeah, so welcome everyone to the Foolish Tech Show. It is a lovely Thursday afternoon, and we are here mainly to provide support and answer any questions about our products and services. And definitely, if you have any of those, jump on over to foolishtechshow.com or foolishit.com/live. You have a few different ways you can join the IRC chat there and talk with us live. And feel free to interrupt us at any point in time. We'll be more than happy to talk about our services, and otherwise we're just going to ramble on about random stuff that's on the interwebs just to fill the air. So we got a lot here. Looks like we got Phoenix and Rover already here, so welcome both of y'all.
Oh yeah, I got a huge crowd in there. Welcome.
Yeah,
Mark,
welcome.
visitor, Masonry,
Lots of people joining.
Duke, Glenn.
Cool. So yeah, there's a few things going on.
Lots going on.
Looks like Phoenix has thrown a bunch of links in there. Let's see if any of them are. He's got one about operating systems should actively block pirated downloads.
Yeah. So apparently, there's they want Google or Microsoft or Apple to crack down on this. I'm not sure how feasible that is. You know, and two, I worry about these providers being able to just solely on based upon getting a notification, the way our DMC laws are, get a notification. Imagine, what if somebody sent a misdirected notification about us to Google and this was in place, and then Google dropped us off the internet?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like giving
control not even
all
just off the internet. From that perspective, you wouldn't be able to use your computer at all for it.
Yeah. From that perspective, it's a Microsoft thing. So
just get deleted. It's like, what? No.
Yeah, I don't. It's bad enough that they're intercepting and looking at all of our data anyway. It's even worse when they're going in there and now effectively altering it for us.
I don't think the OS should be in charge of that. Definitely not. I really don't even think that content aggregators should be.
I'm going to toss up, but I agree with you. There's too much room for abuse in it and everything else, and our laws aren't even otherwise. I mean, part of these problems stem from the way the DMCA laws are. So if those things were tweaked, if the laws were written better, maybe have some technological briefing, by experts before they jot down whatever they think.
They revamp the entire government, then they might have a chance of doing it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I didn't know this, that users are only given 10 days to downgrade from Windows 10 anniversary update. Far cry from the month to downgrade back to 7 or 8 that they had before. Definitely do not delete or clean up your system or clean up your disk before you are sure you want to stay on the anniversary edition, or at least wait the 10 days, I would recommend. I really haven't had many issues with it. I've noticed some issues with my camera. It's a little bit more laggy now. You can see all the blurriness of it. But
yeah, I was the same thing. Gosh, it's upsetting me. I was sitting here screwing with my settings just for the last 20 minutes going, what in the world?
Yeah, well, and the video source driver doesn't work anymore. It's only the webcam driver that works for it. So I don't know. I'm going to try a clean install of it. And like Michael was saying, I should probably do a Revo for it.
Well, yeah, but there's, this is interesting because this is not the only, your particular experience is not the only issue. And I don't want to focus too much on this, but there was Phoenix, and I'll...
Hold on a sec. We got a question from Cell Phone Repair. Asking about the D7 program. How do you invoice customers through the program? You do not. It does not have
it's not a billing system.
It doesn't have a CRM or billing system built into it. It basically gives you the reports that you can attach to your billing system. It does integrate really well with two popular CRM billing systems for tech shops, which would be Repair Shopper and PC Repair Tracker. Proctor's throwing the links in there for those. Do you have the Repair Tracker or?
Yeah, working on it.
Yeah, those are two really good ones. If you don't have something to invoice your customers with, highly recommend checking out those. We really don't have a preference on either of those, or at least I don't. Maybe
I would say that there are different features that each of them are better in than the other one, so you might want to take a look at each of them to decide which one that works best for you.
Proctor's our resident expert on those two. He's done some testing with that in our software. So
something to keep in mind: PC Repair Tracker is a one-time fee, and you set it up in your own cloud. Where Repair Tracker R is a monthly fee, and they host it in their cloud.
Repair Shop R, you mean?
Repair Shop R. I'm not sure what I said.
Repair Tracker R. That might have been
real easy to get those two mixed up.
So yeah, those are two really good ones. We definitely recommend checking them out. Like Proctor said, each has their ups and downs depending on your situation and how you want to handle your data, their data. But both really good. We've talked to the Repair Shop R, maybe even on the show. I don't remember. But we've also talked to the PC Repair Tracker people too, haven't we, Nick?
Yeah.
Luke.
Repair Tracker is very easy to get a hold of, and
yeah, Luke's a real cool guy. He's easy to get a hold of. Everybody likes him. He's as far as I know, he's still just one dude doing his thing. Whereas the Repair Shopper guys, there's two of them at least, or maybe more. No, I'm not sure.
So definitely check them both out. Cell phone repair, very good options for either of those if you're using D7 especially, because they integrate to where when you finish, you can email your reports and upload them, and they'll attach to tickets and assets and various things like that. So very, very nice features on those. And feel free if you have any questions once you get those set up. We'll be happy to help if you have any questions from there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Even on their stuff, the actual two products, we can talk about those too. Proctor's done a lot of work with both of them. We worked with Repair Shop R for a little bit on D-Support Online when we first started that, but we didn't really pick up on it. So, because we moved into other things. But anyway, awesome that you're in Myrtle Beach. That's actually other side of the state for me. I'm over in near the Greenville area, and be careful. I don't know if you saw the show yesterday, but apparently down in Charleston, the brain-eating amoeba showed up in somebody's brain. And, basically, apparently somewhere in Charleston, Charleston River, I think, or one of the rivers down there was apparently has the amoeba in it, and the cautions they say are don't jump into the water feet first, and to the point where water can shoot up your nose, because that's how the amoeba gets into your brain. It can't get in there just from you swimming around, but if water goes up your nose, they can get in there, and it's almost fatal in all cases. So and didn't you say, Proctor, there was only like 53 cases for like the past
something like that? Yeah,
like that. So
well under 100. Yeah,
it's not a very common thing, but
I think it was 39 in the last 53 years.
Yeah, definitely something to be wary of. So especially if there's active cases of it, at least. So
do you mind sharing the name of your shop in Myrtle Beach, and maybe I could stop in next time I'm down there?
Yeah, and either way, free advertising. Let's see, we got some other things. So Roverdesk does invoices with spreadsheets. That can get a little bit complicated. We have another person, a friend of ours, Invoice Solutions, Michael. He uses Evernote for his entire CRM management and billing and invoicing and stuff. So I think that's a little bit crazy. There's a reason there's pre-built CRMs out there, because they do a lot of good stuff for customer relations. So,
Did you get a BREIN?
We had a D7 question in there.
That's what I was trying to catch up on this reading here. Okay, the program D7, what is pre-removal and custom apps and post-removal? I'm not sure what you're asking there.
Is he talking about Installer or?
No, he says D7.
Is he asking about the original D7?
I believe it's the original D7. Let me fire that bad boy up and tell you. I'm pretty sure it's just like some options that you can. It's kind of like just a pre-laid out thing, so you can have some kind of a guide to go with. The free D7 doesn't have as many customization options, so you're kind of set with working with what's there, besides adding your own custom apps. But that is a nice feature in D7 too, is they have a lot more customization features in D7 2, where you can arrange things and put them exactly where you want, how you want to have them. So, don't know where my D7 opened up at. I guess it's still opening. So we'll give that a second to open up, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. It looks like Phoenix tried to answer that as well.
I have a copy of D7 here. Let me see if I can fire it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm firing it up.
It's been so long.
Oh, and Dwayne's the owner in Myrtle Beach, and it's Wireless Depot. Cool. Give me one sec, Futures Tech Quirk. I'll get you the link to that Amoeba thing here in a moment. And yes, the only difference in those lists are just these are things that you would want to do before you try to remove anything. This is the custom apps that you can run, and these are things that you would normally want to do after you've removed it. So.
Oh, so he's talking about the custom apps.
Well, he's just talking about the
layout
categories and why they're there. So it's just kind of to give you a framework and form to follow. So.
And in D7.2, you basically have a similar thing, except they're not actually labeled pre-malware, custom apps, and post-removal, but you have 3 columns.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is the other thing, is that you have to. It's the nicer thing about D7.2, I feel, is that you can rename the columns. You can put whatever you want, wherever you want in the columns. It's much, much nicer on that side of things. So definitely check that out if you haven't looked into it. And second here, let me get the link for that show, or that thing from yesterday. If anybody else has anything else while I'm looking that up.
Yeah, I was mentioning that link to you as well. Let's see.
Oh, cool. Please explain the program D7.2 and its functionalities. I'm looking for a solution for my repair shop, and that's from Dwayne from the Wireless Depot. So, Michael, would you be able to demo that, or do I need to demo it?
I'm sorry. What was I was something else? What does he want a demo of?
D7.2. Just give him an overview of it.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Let me fire something up. Close it out. I had D7 open. So give me one moment. I'll share my screen and I'll do a little rundown of that for you guys. So I'm gonna do share, and I think where is that? There we go. So this is D7.2. It looks somewhat similar to D7, but there's a whole lot more under the hood here. So this is already branded for Matthew Proctor.
Hold on, Michael. Let me make sure it's showing up on the stream, because I'm only seeing the chat window twice. Yeah, because when you
select another source.
Yeah, when you did it, it did the you have the multi-monitor thing.
Oh, that's right. So now is it visible?
You gotta give it a second for it to show up on the stream. So.
Oh no, I gotta share it again. I bet. Hold on.
Yeah, no, it is visible. Now you just gotta make it bigger because we can't see it.
Gotta make it bigger. Is that bigger?
Hold on. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
That looks good. Yeah, just make sure you keep it right in the middle there.
Okay. So this is a customized version of D7.2 that's been customized by Matthew down there. Proctor, he runs a shop, tech shop, and he's got it set. So this is the report, very similar to the original screen that you saw with D7.2, except it's a lot more clickable, and you can potentially get the information about your video cards and BIOS and stuff like that here copied to your clipboard, so you could open that up and quickly locate any updates for that. You get some quick checks that are going down here on the right side. That's a big improvement to bring your attention to, and color-coded, of course, to bring your attention to where there may be a problem. Again, we add and it's
going to show them documenting like the ticket number and name.
Oh, okay. So we have a session concept in D7.2, and let me see if I end the session here. I can show you what that's like. Let's come on here. There we go. All right. So start up. This is the first session. Start. You would give the client a name and a tracking number, and this is how you could track it into Repair Shop R or PC Repair Tracker. You would save that information. I'll just put as a test. But this information gets populated into the fields here. You can change it if you need to midstream, but it's useful for matching up the work that's done in D7.2 with your ticket system. And the session remains open. You may need to reboot, for instance, a whole lot during the repair. The session remains open and will keep logging all activities to the work report here. As you can see, it just tells you everything that's executed with D7.2. And that's really nice so that nobody has to document their work. There are tons of additional tools and repairs in here in comparison to D7. If you look through, we have 3 lists. We typically primarily populate these lists on the left-hand side with completely automated internal functionality that's been custom designed by us here, specifically Nick down there. And in the middle here, we have functionality that is third-party, but typically automated. All these lists can be customized though, so this is just the kind of the flow we thought would be best for somebody getting quickly started with it. And the ones on the right here are tools that are not automated or require interaction. The audit, diagnose, and testing phases these pages, or these columns rather, they have tools on them that are designed for those purposes in mind. As you can see here, there's a lot of test routines on the left. There's a lot of information reports. The info report, to give you another idea, gives you a if I click on the info report, gives you a lot of information about the computer. This is great for documenting, again, great for paperwork for the customer, great for your record keeping purposes. You get a lot of information about the setup, almost everything you would need to fully document what they're doing, what they're running. And
so, real quick, sorry to interrupt you there. I just wanted to say I threw our D7.2 playlist link in there. That has about 30 videos on it that we go over different aspects of D7.2. The first video on there is actually a comparison between D7 and D7.2's.
yeah, that'll be great.
Quick guides on there, and the higher number ones are our more recent ones. So if you want to see some other shows that we talked about and went over these things, you can check out some of those features, because some of them we focus on certain things like custom apps. Other ones we focus on certain aspects like defunct. So there's a lot of good video material in there if you want to review that later. More than happy to keep going over it with you here. Just wanted to give you those extra areas so you can look at.
Yeah, thank you for that. That'll be good reinforcement. So the concept of what we have here is we allow you to automate all the activities that you see here. So we would check off, or you as maybe a manager of your shop might check off everything that you feel should be done, let's say for a malware removal. Let's say, and it can cross across multiple tabs, that's fine. But let's say you would want to do all these things, and I'm just randomly picking various stuff just to give you an idea of some of the stuff that's available out here. But when you're done with what your repair process might be, you could save it. So you could save it as something like malware, whatever. So I'm going to save a auto mode profile with those things checked, and so anytime I start up, have that profile loaded, and you can have a various profile loaded by default when D72 starts up. All you'll have to do is hit the start auto mode and it'll run through all this. That'll reduce your clicking, even simply to launch these applications, by quite a bit. The idea is to improve your productivity, to basically get you to the point where you can do all your current repairs a whole lot faster than you were previously. Okay, and this the auto mode functionality does wonders for that. That's probably the biggest improvement you'll see. You'll still run the same tools. You'll still run whatever malware tools you wanted to run. Let's say Malwarebytes or Super Anti-Spyware or our own Defunk application, which I love to go into right now. Just give me a moment, it's loading some depths. But the good part is here, this is sort of like auto runs on steroids, and with a lot of information gathering capabilities. So if you're unsure of a file, if you think, for instance, this file is suspicious, we try to pull a lot of information out here and a lot of ways to help you. Like for certain executable files, we can create what's called an IFEO to block these files from running. So let's say you found a computer that was infected, you saw some malicious stuff in here and you wanted to prevent it from running. You didn't know what the infection was, you didn't want to do any scans, you didn't want to attack the registry, you didn't want to do any of that. You just wanted to get the infection out of the way so you could maybe continue. Maybe it's preventing you from doing something. Anyway, creating an IFEO would do that. For that file. Ideally, though, as your whitelists get larger, what gets populated into all these locations didn't want to click on that, but and all these locations will be small because we provide huge whitelists for all modern operating systems, Windows operating systems. So you'll only see in here typically things that are not default, stuff that the customer has typically installed after Windows.
Yeah. To explain that a little bit more, basically to answer your question first off, Dwayne, Defunk is actually what the original D7 was based off of, and it's actually based off of the way that Nick and I used to remove malware ourselves before Malwarebytes or all these various antiviruses or all these anti-ransomwares, any of that stuff was out there. Basically, we only had Adaware and Spybot, and those did fairly well for their time, but we would always end up having to go through the registry and file system, and even today, still have to go through the registry and file system at times to clean up things that were left over by removing the viruses and malware. Like there's extra files that get left behind that antivirus isn't going to remove because that's not the actual malicious file, but you don't want to leave them on there for the customer to find and see. Same thing in the registry. That's the worst places. A lot of times they don't take out a lot of the stuff in the registry, so you end up having errors of missing files and things like that. So what this is designed for is that you don't actually, if you build up your whitelist well and you use this primarily, you'll be able to remove malware and viruses without having to run a single scan.
Yeah. So one thing, Phoenix is pointing out some things. He does point out that yes, in general, D7 is an automation framework, and it doesn't It's not an antivirus, but you can use defunct to directly remove an infection without, as Brantley just mentioned, additional tools or scanners. So it's very powerful, and if you do currently use D72 and don't use defunct when you do the malware removal, I think you're missing out on a whole lot. Highly recommend.
Honestly, it's a lot easier to remove stuff if you know what you're looking at and get things cleaned up instead of waiting on several hours worth of various scans that may or may not be finding anything at all. Honestly, whenever I do a cleanup, I usually will go into defunct first and use that to clean up everything I can. And then if things are still left over, I might run a couple scans just to clear up anything that I might have missed. But defunct is excellent in what it does and how it does it. So highly, highly recommend it. And it's more for advanced technicians, but it also will let you train technicians to learn things, because what happens here is the whitelist won't show anything in that box if it's been whitelisted. If it hasn't been whitelisted, that means you haven't looked at that file before and you're not sure what it is. So then you can use the tools in that file info box there to research that file and say, is this a good file or is this a bad file? You can see it even does the virus shares. You got to be on an actual file for that.
Oh yeah, let me. I'm on the registry. Let me go back to here and pick a. It doesn't match anything on virus total, but you know, you can. We have some great ways where you can search to figure out what it is you're looking at, and you know, get access to it real quickly. And whitelist, and that's the button you'll probably use a whole heck of a lot when at first, you know, if you're coming across computers, maybe all of your clients have certain pieces of software installed that we don't have by default on the whitelist. But you know, as it grows, these scans will become shorter and shorter, and you'll have to focus less and less on fewer and fewer items to the point where it's hopefully just popping up the stuff you want to remove. And you know, we do junctions, we look at the host file, we do every, you know, registry hacks and hijacks and all of that stuff. So it's a very powerful.
And a lot of things that I feel like people get confused about D72 is they kind of focus on the third-party custom app system, and you can see all those D72 icons. Those are all built-in internal functions. So those are all things that D72 is doing itself, not really relying on third-party programs. So.
Yeah, the only thing in this repair tab that's third-party is some of these Microsoft things over here and the Windows Repair AIO. That's it. The rest of this stuff, all the D72 icon stuff, as Brantley mentioned, is.
And the stuff in that repair tab is a lot of good stuff that can help you repair all types of general Windows problems, as well as, you know, fixing things that malware may have broken.
And another very popular program of ours, Rsd Installer, is completely included with D72. We have a lot of MSPs using this software to automate uninstallations of preloaded applications onto, you know, usually, you know, vendors, you know, the big guys, the big OEMs, usually, you know, cleaning all those things up, and that's a $49.95 value there. So that's included, and you can build whitelists and blacklists with it as well.
So in that playlist, there's actually a couple videos, Dwayne, that will give you kind of a walkthrough. I'll link the two big ones here. It's kind of hard to just give a walkthrough like right off the bat like this, because we don't have a system set up with viruses and malware ready to clean off. So
yeah, I mean, I can. This isn't broken, so I'm not sure what I would actually be fixing, but we can, you know.
We have done other shows in the past where we've had malware systems and gone through and walked through them, and these are two of them. This first one that I posted is for a full malware removal overview where we kind of go from beginning to end and do the entire malware removal. This one is a defunct focused one.
Ah, great. It's one that I don't think gets enough attention.
So those are the best 2 videos to watch for that. I think we could probably go through and make a new one, but we kind of have to plan for that one so that we can have things set up and ready so that we can do a whole walkthrough for that day.
If you'd like to schedule something, if you have, for instance, if you even wanted to provide potentially a machine to do some repairs with D7.2 with that already has problems that you're aware of, we could also take that route as well if you'd like to schedule with some time with us. Otherwise, I'd encourage you to email sales@foolishit.com and let us know if you'd like to do that and the time. We can definitely work with you to make that happen.
And actually, if you had a virtual machine that has a bunch of viruses on it, that's actually what our evaluation or demo mode is for. And I will get you the link for that. So what this does is it allows you to run D7.2 in a virtual environment, specifically virtual PC. So you will have to have that if you want to test out
VirtualBox.
VirtualBox, yep, sorry, not virtual PC, sorry. But that is our virtual evaluation mode. Load up a VirtualBox machine, infect it with viruses and malware, and then you can load up that version of D7.2 and use the virtual evaluation mode and kind of walk through the cleaning and removal process of it. It's extremely, extremely nice. Especially, I feel like you get a lot more playing with it yourself, so that's definitely a good way to go. The other 2 videos would be great. Another option would be calling and having us schedule a time and going over with you on something like that. And then, of course, those videos, and we may make another video here soon to go over some malware removal stuff. So. Did you have any other specific questions or things you wanted to see more of? So we could definitely take some time on those. I know we kind of.
I just wanted to interject just a couple of big features. We have a great way of deploying our D7.2 tool to a remote system for remote repair with your existing, like we use TeamViewer, you might use something else. You know, a lot of people out there use Screen Connect, but whatever remote connectivity tool you're using, we make it very easy with a roughly 300 kilobyte executable to get the tool configured the way you have it down to the machine for easy repair. We also have an offline operations in the odd chance that you're unable to launch D7 or unable to maybe even boot a PC, you could use the offline operations to attach the hard drive to another PC and run D7 from there to repair it. D7.2 has a safe mode too, so it's very rare that it would be unable to launch itself. There's also a great tool called Debug, specifically for cases where maybe active malware is preventing D7.2 from completing or working correctly. Debug will lock the system down so only D7.2 can run, and it's very powerful too. We have some debug videos to go over malware fighting with that. Is basically after you run debug, you get a clean system or a system that isn't infected anymore, and then you can take your time basically doing the actual malware removal of all the files on the system that still contain the infection.
So he said he would like some hand holding, and he's trying to automate his repair their repair business. I'm terrible about doing that, but
Dwayne, I think the best route. I think the best route, frankly, Dwayne, is for you, like I said, for you to just shoot me an email to sales@foolishit and let me set up something with you, a one-on-one meeting where I can run down with you what your processes currently are and maybe how we can integrate that into D7.2. We really don't want you to change your process. We just want to save you some time in getting all those steps of your process done. And yeah, if you would like to speak on the phone, we can do that as well. We don't have a huge phone staff, but we can make ourselves available. If possible, if you would schedule a time with us so we can be available, mention that in the email you send to us, and we will we'll call you at that time. Guys, my roomie loved the burning windmill video.
Yeah, I liked that one too. That was a good one. That was from yesterday. Yeah, Michael loves to talk to people on the phone, so he'll be happy to talk to you. And he does a really great job of finding out what your process is and showing you how to best integrate D7.2 to make your life easier. So I I'll put it in the chat here. It's sales@foolishit.com.
Oh yeah, I should have put that in, but thanks.
So that would be our email, the best one to get to us, and yeah, we can go from there. I think it will work out perfectly if that's what you're looking for. Our motto for D72 is actually automate, relax, get paid. So thing to do. Fits it perfectly. And USS Rover posted a link from Newegg Business to win a system upgrade if you're into contests and things like that.
Oh, and Dwayne, too, I wanted to mention, I'll also take the opportunity during our phone call to tell you about some other stuff that we have to increase your profitability. We have other tools that I think would be quite useful for you, including our D-Support Suite and also our highly popular CryptoPrevent application. And I can discuss with you the options for reselling that to your customers. We're successful when you guys are successful, when your business, Dwayne, specifically is successful. So we want to see that happen, and we want to do everything in our power to make you money. And two, if you do decide to purchase or use D72, we have a tech director who sometimes we don't, or we neglect to mention, but we have millions of visitors to our website solely for CryptoPrevent, and almost all of those users are probably home users or residential users or maybe even business users who have been affected or are currently affected by ransomware or malware. And these are perfect opportunities for them to reach you. So if somebody were to come that's in your area, they could look up your business in our tech directory and get in touch with you. And basically that's free advertising for your business, and we want to help bring the customers to you, and then once they get there, you can roll out CryptoPrevent to them, you can repair their computer, you can give them and get the money off the sale of all those things. So I think there's a lot of opportunities out there, and I look forward to that conversation with you.
Yep. So cell phone repair, I like Spybot Search and Destroy. Like I said, that was one back in XP days. Nick and I were working side by side at a tech shop, Adaware and Spybot Search and Destroy. I don't find it as useful anymore. I do like their immunization stuff where they put a whole bunch of stuff in the host file. Although there's been talk about having too much in your host file might degrade.
Too much in your host file can slow performance, or at least it used to. I'm not so sure that's maybe so big of an issue these days with SSDs and other, performance improvements, but there was some concern about that. But it's a good product. It was back in the day, like Brantley says. I don't find myself using it as much today, though, but
I still think it's a good product, and they have made some improvements. It's just, like I said, most of the time when I am fixing a system, which normally nowadays is for family and friends, I load up defunct and clean it out that way, and then maybe run Malwarebytes just for good measure and a virus scan or two just to ensure that I didn't miss anything through that. So I really don't run a whole lot of scans anymore to try to clean up malware and viruses.
Rover, you had a question about video cards. I was unclear specifically. What are you asking? You just need a video card advice?
He was that contest that he posted from Newegg Business is giving away video cards. So if you wanted a chance to upgrade your video card.
I got it. Sorry, I didn't follow that link.
I'm still doing all right on mine, so I'm okay on that.
Oh no, you can wait another generation. I think you got a decent card. So I'm gonna stop the screen sharing here, if that's okay, Dwayne, and we'll pick it up again via the phone call or the email. Let's see.
So I have an interesting link to start off here. Apparently, Facebook has a new anti-clickbait algorithm that's going to bury bogus headlines.
Yeah, we'll see how it works.
Yeah, highly interested to see how well that's going to work out, and maybe that'll even convince Michael to get on Facebook.
Well, without understanding how they implement those types of things, it's very disturbing. I know that there's a problem in their newsfeed, and that's been talked about before, and they obviously agree that that's an issue, and so they're taking these steps. But the same mechanisms that are allowing them to remove those things are allowing them to basically pick and choose what content gets into those feeds. And that means that possibly Facebook's opinion is going to be represented in those feeds that they find to be, whatever, good or not clickbait feeds. And there's been cases of them, I don't know. I think there should be a total oversight of anybody that claims, or if you have anything on your website that claims to be a news feed, I think there should be some sort of oversight of it. And you can't leave it up to the provider of the service to say, oh, we're going to clean up our links. And because they'll say things like this, and then, everybody's, Facebook, completely trust them. And then, they'll come up to you and they'll be like, oh, well, I know what you're saying, and I know you seem to be an experienced technician, but I looked on Facebook, CNN, and Fox, and they all said the same thing, and, why should I believe you instead of them? Well, I don't really think that's a valid question, number one, but a lot of people, over 50% of the people, at least in this country, rely upon Facebook or other social newsfeed websites for their primary source of news.
Yeah,
scary,
I do.
Scary. And
RSS feeds. Well, moving on, it looks like Revo, which we mentioned a little bit earlier here, is Revo Uninstaller has released 2.0, and it has full 64-bit support released with it. So that's interesting. I thought it was 64-bit.
Yeah, I thought
it limited 64-bit support before, so now it's full 64-bit support. Cool. Also, Phoenix, I saw your question and I completely got distracted here. Crypto Prevent 8 is doing good. We've had couple of beta releases here in the past week.
Yeah, so please update again if you haven't.
Yeah, major updates, and you should just be able to open up the interface and it'll automatically update to the latest one. But
a big fix, or one thing I wanted to confirm that I did with a customer, we had a problem with Crypto Prevent 7. If you have anybody out there that wanted to enable email notifications using Office 365 and that wasn't working with Crypto Prevent 7, we've confirmed that that's resolved in Crypto Prevent 8. So anybody with email issues, that's a go-to for them. Brantley, you continue. I'm sorry to interrupt. Performance! Oh my God, performance! It's even faster.
We've made a ton of performance improvements. The interface has been made much smoother. Right now, I just finished working on some updates to the new feature Folder Watch, and we got a plan for some beta definitions that could possibly add around a few million additional definitions for a hash definition. So that'll be
some cool. Testing, but that's could be a big improvement in our protections. Yeah.
Working on doing that, and also Nick is working on getting the filter module updated as well. So we'll have a new implementation of the filter module based on D7X codes.
Doing it right now, in fact.
Yeah, so that should be awesome.
Super
actually
excited. I can't wait.
That will probably actually bring that feature out of beta mode and into full support. But otherwise, it's going really good, we feel. Definitely feel free to download it and test it out. Let me get you the link so you can check that out there.
And we're also going to put out a tool that's going to allow people to do that hashing submission without Crypto Prevent. We want to make sure, we want to do some vetting of the hashes, and that's going to help us get a lot more information for that and allow them to grow. So if that turns out to work well, we've got a great mechanism to keep that going and increasing. So that's another good piece.
We don't have a release date specifically, but we're making good progress on it. So we're pretty excited about where it stands right now, and think it's only going to continue to get better until it gets to release point. So
I think you'll find it harder and harder to find bugs, but if you do find any, please make us aware and we'll get it updated. And the sooner we can quash all of those, the sooner we'll have it in your hands as a final.
Yep, definitely. So yeah, those are some good things going on.
Absolutely. Let's see. There's some more tech out their news articles. Did you talk about the recall on the watch?
No, I didn't.
Not that that's crazy important, but Brentley did bring up the fact that this is Intel, and it's a little bit. So they were going to issue a firmware update to resolve they knew it was a known issue that it's burning people, and they issued a firmware update that failed to resolve the problem. So full recall. If you bought any of those, I'd be wary. And it's their flagship and only smartwatch that is being offered by Base's. This company owned by Base's Peak. It's is the product. It's owned by Intel.
Dwayne, for the checklist for entry level techs, I think you'll find you really won't need that much. And Proctor can attest to this. He actually hired two new people, actually, didn't you? That both of them, you just sat them down and said, open up D7.2, hit start.
Yeah.
One of the great things about D7.2 is that it's provides a lot of power for a seasoned technician, but also is easy enough to use, easy enough for a new technician to learn it and use it and perform a lot more like a seasoned veteran than.
If you want consistency with your techs, if you want consistent virus removal, repetitive, consistent, repeatable work.
Well, and as far as the checklist goes, that's basically what your auto mode profile would be. So how you configure things in your checkboxes for different profiles. So like maybe you have a full malware removal that goes in depth and cleans out stuff. Maybe you have a quick one for just little quick things. And maybe you have a just fix Windows issues. Maybe you have a just clean up, tune up profile. And basically, we actually have all of those profiles predefined in our downloadable version. So we kind of give you a basis to start off with, and then you can customize that to whatever your flow is. And then at that point, once you have your flow set in the program, it really is kind of a open up D7, hit start, wait for it to finish, and continue on. So it's fairly nice, and it kind of gives you that checklist, and that way you also know that the techs are going through everything. But very, very low learning curve to just have someone working on a system. They don't have to know all the ins and outs of D7.2 and what it's actually doing. As long as you have it set up the way you like it, you'll know that they're doing what you would do on a system as well. So extremely nice for that side. Beavis isn't in here today, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this link out here because I thought it was awesome. They made a Lego version of Suicide Squad, which apparently Suicide Squad is a major letdown.
Yeah, speaking of that, I wanted to mention that, but go ahead with yours.
Have you watched it yet?
No, I haven't, but Rotten Tomatoes seems to be blowing up with it.
I don't know if it was Suicide Squad
not being good, like you said. I mean,
I don't know if it was Suicide Squad or Jason Bourne, but Rotten Tomatoes gotten a petition against them.
It was Suicide Squad. They got a petition by them. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fans of Suicide Squad have actually put up a petition to take down Rotten Tomato because of how bad they reviewed.
But who are the fans? In other words, who are the fans? Are they just the people that wrote the movie? Or are they just all the fans? Or is it
they had quite a few people on that petition. When I saw it, so it's apparently a lot of people. It's just the critics don't like it, and I think the same thing happened with the new Bourne movie. The critics don't like the movie at all. I watched it recently, and
thought it was good.
I mean, it's not as great as the first three, but it's not like a terrible movie. It's still a Bourne movie, and those are awesome movies and concepts and ideas, and you learn more about Jason, which is kind of what that story is about. So. I thought it was an awesome movie, so if you haven't seen that, I still recommend checking that one out.
Okay.
But I'm disappointed if Suicide Squad is bad. They've pumped it up so much.
So you haven't seen it, or you can't corroborate, but
I haven't seen it. Actually, it's not. It comes out tonight, doesn't it?
I didn't know when it comes out, so I was unsure. But
I think it's just critics that have seen it, and that's why it's getting such a low thing on Rotten Tomatoes, because none of the people have had a chance to Let's see when it comes out. Yeah, tomorrow. So
Okay.
tonight, midnight showings probably.
Rover Desk mentions Rotten Tomatoes equals tongue-in-cheek, so he's
Yeah.
maybe not giving them.
Well, I feel like Rotten, like on IMDb right here, Suicide Squad has a 7.6 out of 10 with 20,000 votes almost. Rotten Tomato is a
What is Rotten Tomatoes rating on it so far?
35%, and Metacritic is 46%. And to put that Rotten Tomato thing in perspective, the Batman versus Superman, which I agree was a terrible movie,
Yeah, that was bad.
got a 29% on Rotten Tomato. So they say it's only like 6% more than Batman versus Superman, which seems impossible. It doesn't have Ben Affleck in it. How can it be only 6 points? That'd be like 10% better right off the bat.
Yeah. Listen, Dwayne had a question there. Phoenix was asking. So Dwayne, yeah, D72's work report, as I thought I went over that a little bit. Maybe I didn't spend enough time, but it does everything, every application that's run and every item that's done in D72 will be documented. So you can see exactly what a technician did to resolve the problem on the computer. So again, we cover your base for that. We know technicians don't like to document their work. Especially, usually, even the more experienced ones, they're even less likely to do that. So having that kind of log of that activity is immensely useful for the customer. It gives them a huge idea of the productivity that you're offering them with D72. When, you know, their previous text, they come and they see a work report that basically has just a couple of lines and saying, oh, PC clean at the end. And you have a list of, you know, 50 scans or 50 repair things that you ran on the system. That's going to look a lot more impressive from the customer's perspective. And we thought about all that with D72.
Definitely make a note of that when for your phone call. Ask Michael about it again, because he'll spend some time showing you what exactly gets in reports. There's even an info report that you can generate that gives you a full rundown almost on the system itself, and
yeah, we
things like that.
I talked about that a little bit, but yeah, it's almost everything you need.
Well, it's hard to, like I said, it's hard to kind of go through that kind of stuff like this.
When you see it, yeah, we'll go through all those steps, but that's a very good point though. And this one, I want to just throw this out real quick. Gary Kildall holds a special place in my heart. I truly believe that Microsoft kind of robbed DOS, you know, from him in a way, and he created CPM, and he died back in, I believe it was 94. I want to say it's been quite a while now. It was a big loss, but he was writing a memoir apparently before he died, and his family's children have agreed to release the first part of it. Now, apparently the subsequent parts did not represent his character, so that's kind of a little weird, but maybe he was suffering from something. But the first part apparently they endorsed. So if anybody wants to look at that from a huge pioneer in operating systems, I highly recommend you take a look. And I also wanted to do the follow-up link to the actual story, the actual document, so you can go straight there from the Computer History Museum. computerhistory.org. Let's see. Dwayne says he used to be a tech manager at CompUSA, and they had a print off of the service and describe what the service entailed. Does yours do that as well? Yes, Dwayne. Again, the work report will do all that, and the combination of the work report and the info.
I'm trying to find a work report that will be good to show off here. So.
Okay. Oh, excellent. Yeah, you combine those two together and print them off for the customer. Yeah, that should be identical or better than what you guys were doing over there at your previous job.
Let's see. I want to get a large size one.
Does CompUSA still exist?
Only online, no brick and mortar.
God, time flies, man. It used to be big. And let's see. I thought this was wild. IBM. IBM does crazy amounts of research, but I'm not so happy with their regular business operations. My mother works, used them as a vendor for a large Oracle database project for a utility company, and they had some issues, but they are making great strides in areas that are a little scary sometimes. Phase change neurons, artificial neurons. Yeah, they have a big R&D budget apparently over at IBM. Maybe they need to use some of that budget for some of their other departments as well. No problem, Dwayne. Remedial questions is no. We're happy to help anyone who comes here with anything. Even there's no question that's too small and nothing that's
yeah. Feel free to ask away.
Remedial.
Here, I just noticed something really funny. I tried to share a window with Ring Central, and it doesn't recognize Internet Explorer or Edge. It doesn't recognize Microsoft Edge as a window.
That's cool.
It's cute.
So here is, let's see if that shows up on the screen.
Yeah, Edge is a great new tool for downloading Chrome.
Yeah. All right, looks like it's showing. Yep, so that shows you kind of a brief work report. Obviously, I didn't do a whole lot here with this one, but you can kind of see it gives you the date and time, when things were run, what was run, and actually all of these things on the work report are customizable, so you can put your own. So if you wanted to just say restore point created or something to that effect, you can put that there. But you can see like scanned with malware, scanned for malware with malware bytes when it completed the work, and looks like I did the same thing on this system 3 times. But yeah, you can. It's very nice because you can track things and what's been done without you having to do it. Plus, having these customizable means that you can just print it out and hand it over to a customer, and they're not going to be confused by it. They're going to see like, oh, it's scanned for malware, they scanned for malware, and things like that. So
yeah, and again, Phoenix points out it's customizable. You know, if you know a little HTML, you can go in there and change it up how you like.
So he has another question. A fast way to install OSs. What's that? Oh man, what's that thing called? Nick, you used that before. The thing that pushes it out over the network.
Oh, the
PXE server.
Yeah, having a PXE server in store is awesome.
Well, it's
I used Windows, actually, Windows Server to do that, and then I had gosh, what was that? Some sort of I had like a different. I use Windows Server, WSUS server, WSUS server, not the offline tool or whatever, but the Microsoft server component. And that I used something for PXE boot. I used something like a certain custom menu or something that I had like hacked in there somehow. Can't remember what that was called though. But that wasn't really necessary.
Yeah, if you're on internal network in your shop and you're doing lots of OS reloads, having a PXE server your best route to go, especially with a mixture.
Tons to set up.
Wait, are you?
But I also did. I also had. I remember I had that thing to do
Windows
boot
deployment services. Isn't it Windows deployment services?
Yes. Yes, it is.
I had that thing on there to do. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. But I had that thing on there, a custom menu. You're right, WDS. But I had that thing on there to do. Oh yeah, boot CDs. You can do boot CDs over the network too.
I would like to mention Phoenix is easy to boot though in that regard because the boot CDs, that I believe his tool is a pretty good tool for that type of thing.
Well, it's not his tool.
Okay, but
or the tool he recommends. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not his tool, but I believe
he's a very big fan of it, and if you have any questions, he's always more than happy to.
I have a question. What is?
What?
Anyway, but is that a menu system that you can use to boot CDs over the network?
No, it's hard drive.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about.
No, it's not.
But this is also for installing operating systems, so
Yeah.
I think it serves a similar purpose. But.
It does, but I lean on the Nick side that it's much nicer to set up WDS if you're going to be installing Windows.
It cut down our installation time to a fraction of what it was before. Honestly, when we used it at the store I was at, you know, it took the deployment down to what, like 15 minutes or less per computer. To deploy an operating system and get it up to speed. And you could even, depending upon how your deployment is and how you have it set up, you could preload it with applications and get it to the point where it's practically deliverable. Huge savings, and it doesn't require a lot of infrastructure. You need a server operating system and you need the Pixies set up, but it wasn't that difficult to implement. Once you get it set up and going, it works great.
And past that, you can even slipstream your OSs, so they have
patches and everything else.
All the patches built in when you boot it up. We've had a show or two on slipstreaming in the past. If you want to check those out.
Oh man, because I had this on the I used to have this on the website and I can't find it now.
Oh, the PXE stuff.
Yeah, I had like a guide for it. I just remember.
Good.
I don't think it exists anymore for some reason.
Yeah, take care, Rover. I might have missed him already, but Rover Desk, rather.
It's like the page is there, but nothing's on it.
So Phoenix says you can use Easy to boot to a PXE boot server if you wanted. So that could be the booting tool that you were talking about with the menu.
Mm-hmm.
You could use that. You could use Easy to boot to the PXE server if you're on the local network, or if you're out and about, you can use it to install CDs.
Well, I'm just saying the PXE server was if you had, you know, it had a boot, like I had the boot menu in that, so that you could then boot CDs over the network. I mean, I can see you using that to then boot to the network.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
Phoenix found the link for you.
Awesome.
My network boot setup.
Yeah, I have that too, but there's nothing on the page.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like it says click the tech menu at the top for the whole rundown.
That was one that you had split up then.
I removed it. Yeah, I had it split up. It was like 15 different pages of info.
Yeah. Well, and you do link to a blog that is still there that explains it as well. Yeah, and they do a step-by-step. Yeah, you can just use the blog that you link to.
Oh.
You said
that's.
You pulled
that's. I pulled things from the blog, but there are a lot of things that it didn't do right or didn't do the way I felt was best or something.
Mm-hmm. But there's the blog if you want to check that one out. There's some good links on there. Netboot.xyz is also an interesting option as well. It does some other features, kind of like the WSD, but WSD is Windows.
WTF, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was something like that. Might have been it. That I don't remember what I used, but it was that it was.
Netboot's a rather newer one.
Mm.
When we,
I don't know. You could boot. I know you could boot like Linux CDs and anything else over it. Just remember what it was.
All right. Well, we have reached our hour for the day. Definitely, if you have any last-minute questions, feel free to spit them out here. We'll spend some extra time to talk about them if so. Otherwise, we will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. If you want to continue on in a different on those. While we wait on any further questions, I'll throw out a last link here that I thought was rather interesting. So apparently there's a nostalgic virus out there that basically just gives you a black screen with text that says, as you reboot, you find that something has overwritten your MBR. It's a sad thing. Your adventures have to end here. So that's a pretty, that would be terrible to have to do. Oh, this came from the infected classic shell. that no one should.
Michael.
What came from the what was what?
That nostalgic virus that I just posted.
Okay, it has
Is
nothing
what
to
they were
do
using.
with Classic Shell. It has to do with FossHub. FossHub was putting this out to everybody that downloaded anything through their
Infected
website.
Classic Shell.
It has not. It's not infected Classic Shell. They were attaching. They were serving up. FossHub was delivering bad links. Okay, to all of their files. Okay, FossHub's the web page was hacked. It has nothing to do with that. No data on the proprietor or the writer of that site was altered.
Michael, everyone is having issues with Classic Shell.
No, everyone isn't. I run it just fine on all my computers. No infection.
Michael.
I'm not talking about the actual program itself, which is ridiculous on its own. I'm talking about, and probably a virus itself, but
no, it's a very well-written program.
Otherwise, I'm talking about the people that are getting infected are only talking about Classic Shell.
The message here should be only download software from the author's websites. Don't download from those other websites that you don't know who they are. Okay, mirrors. I'm talking about mirrors. Okay, be careful with mirrors. They get compromised.
Asshole.
Otherwise, everybody is talking about. So it was either Audacity or Classic Shell coming from that FossHub that were infected and give you this virus.
Yeah, the two most popular programs that FossHub serves up. That's the only reason. It's the two most popular programs, okay? That's just like why malware infects Windows more, because Windows is more popular.
Mad.
He is very mad.
He's awful protective.
I just hate this guy is getting his business destroyed. This guy is getting his life's work destroyed by somebody posting a headline that is totally inaccurate. And I feel so bad for him, any losses he's having as a result of this. He makes a great product. It helps a lot of people, okay? And it works well.
That's all he's doing, Michael.
One in 6 people use it.
Yeah, 1 in 6 people. That's pretty high.
Where did that estimate come from?
Because 1 out of 6 of us use it.
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying that kind of like 1 in 6 people using Windows is how that would translate, and that is not the case. I would think it's more like 1 in 2 billion.
Anyway, everyone's pointing the finger at this poor guy, and he didn't do anything to anyone. And he didn't have his site hacked. He has the security up there. Look, talk to this guy. He's one of the greatest developers. He actually keeps open lines of communication with all of his people, very much like we do and like you do, Nick. And you may not think his software is useful for you, but a lot of people out there do find it useful for them.
I don't pick on the guy. I pick on the people using that software.
Yeah, because there should not be a market for that.
Well, your big friends love it and demand it over at the hotline.
I don't think so. I think
So Michael, that's who you're grouping yourself with.
So you put that on their computers, by the way.
I'll remove it from them, but I guarantee they're going to be pissed.
It's probably because you already.
Yeah, because you showed it to them. Now
we shouldn't be mentioning names.
Nipple. That's called putting them on the nipple. And when you put a person on your nipple, that means that they're going to be there for a while.
So yeah. Okay, they have so very few problems.
That's why they call it.
I have not used this classic. Shell? What is it called? Classic Shell.
But he has reported his productivity has reduced.
Why don't you like it, Brantley?
Well, I tried using Michael's computer, and it's like completely broken.
It has nothing to do.
Have you used it on someone's computer other than Michael's computer?
We know Michael's computer.
No, I'm saying all of the great features that Windows 10 gives you, it just takes them away.
No, it doesn't. It supplements them. It lists everything in Windows.
It supplements them with lesser functionality. What?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I will.
It gives you control back.
Yeah, it
Michael
does.
Put it on my dad's.
Control over what? Let Johnny. I'm sorry, Johnny.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I will say that Michael put it on my dad's computer, and my dad's computer never ran worse.
You're lying. You're lying. You're
A
lying.
pop-up box comes up and it specifically says Classic Shell has interrupted something or other from working.
So if you want to check this out for some reason, if you want to break your Windows, there's the Classic Shell's actual page. Download it from them directly.
Directly.
Yeah, it removes everything.
And do a
useful.
hash check. Do a hash check of it if you're sure. If you're not sure. By the way, they also definitely compatible with Windows Anniversary Update. By the way,
Michael, actually on this page here for ClassicShell.net, it does say, "Attention, the download service for Classic Shell."
Because he's a good guy. He makes up. He wants to notifies people so they're not hurt by this. I think. That's
No, he's saying that the download service for Classic Shell. He's not saying a mirror was hacked. He's not saying a mirror was hacked. He's saying my download service was hacked. So that's where all this press is coming from, is because he's saying his download service was hacked. Not
he's using FossHub.
Okay, so it wasn't its download is still hacked then. Jeez.
Prick.
Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap it up because we're just rambling into despair, and Nick is going to go off the deep end with soundboard clips, which is already a little bit on the
you wouldn't believe all the stuff I got from Merriam-Webster online back in the day, and they yanked it all. But I can't believe the sound actor that did these, and I've had them forever, and they yanked them. Every cuss word in the book is in there.
Yeah. Well, let's try not to put those on the show since we're on the show. So anyway, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Whoa, Dwayne!
Thank you, Dwayne. We're glad you're here as well, and we look forward to talking with you and hopefully having a successful partnership in the future. But otherwise, thanks everyone for joining us today. Thank you very much for all the questions about D7.2. We're more than happy to spend the time on that. I wish we had a little bit better way to be able to quickly answer all the questions like that, but sometimes a personal touch is what's needed there. So feel free to contact us, and otherwise we'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m.